Let's move on to some PulseChain prices here. So where are we at? So this has been an interesting thing. So the last couple of days, we have seen, pump for ants for PulseChain over the last couple of days. I mean, actually, it's been a decent a decent move off of the lows here. We have Pulse up to quad 0.34. Pulse X is up to 4 zeros and a 1.7, which it's made a good move as things have started to come up. Incentive token. We've seen this before, like Pulse X and Incentive usually move pretty well. I think Hex also actually has moved pretty damn well as things have come back up. We have Hex at 0041 right now, and then eHex at 0011. So we are seeing some green within a PulseChain over the last couple of days while everything else is still oscillating, and that's been really bullish to see. And it does beg the question. I mean, like, are the tides starting to turn a little bit? Are we out of sellers at this point? Are we exhausted? We'll get into the sentiment thing here during this conversation. But first off, you've got the Pulse chart up. So what do you make of it right now? We are starting to see a little bit of a move up. And again, and we can look at it in a moment, but that Pulse versus Ethereum chart, we can look at it in a minute again. But if you look at it, it's basically been flatlined since May of this year. So Pulse against ETH, which in my opinion is probably a better thing and a more comforting thing for anybody to look at than looking at the value against USD, you'll see it's like, I don't think we're going to go any further down. I mean, it's basically been flat lines for 4 months. So anyway, what do you make of the regular Pulse chart here, Ewok?
Well, you really have to zoom in on it to get any kind of real pump. It's a pump for ants. I mean, but after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, these are days. Never mind. It was a week straight of down, and then 3 more days. You break it up by 1, but it looks like it has rounded off. Like I said, if you zoom out though to the bigger picture, it isn't much, right? I mean, we're down in this little corner here.
Right.
It looks better. It's not a straight up, straight down thing. It's when you see these rounded off bottoms, it usually means that sentiment is turning a little bit. Back here was 1, 2. There was started a rounding, and then it did take off. That was back in October. When you see rounded things, though, it can go the other way as well. There's a rounding here, and then boom, but then took off again. So, yeah, I mean, it's just like I said, I hope this is the bottom. It's gotten so close though, and we'll probably talk about this a little bit later. But it's gotten so close that I removed one of my liquid loan positions just because it's not worth it to me to make a little bit of yield on some borrowed, in a vault. So I removed it. It's just, again, I over collateralized by, I think it was 11 or 1200% of what I borrowed. And it was down to 300 or 400%. And I just wasn't comfortable with it. So I pulled my vault, I paid back the loan, and I'll wait till we get a little bit better of a confirmation. Even recollateralizing at that same percentage at these levels would probably be a better thing to do. And that way you can buy time and also have a little bit more play with it. But again, just for now, I decided to pull it out and just not take the risk with my Pulse.
I totally get that. And I wanted to just look at some of we were talking about some of the sentiment around PulseChain. Yeah, the comments specifically on our channel, and well, it's not just our channel. I was just watching Money Gang Crypto. He's been like really pumping out great content lately. I love that guy. He's been doing a lot of streams just by himself, interviews with people and stuff like that. He's been doing so great. He was echoing the same thing the other day, just like the comments and seeing stuff from people. Crypto Coffee, I saw, did a live stream the other day and had multiple people that were super bearish and criticizing Pulse in the chat. And, Coffee, usually he's got a lot of subscribers. He's usually going to get some pretty positive people that have been around a long time and kind of get this whole thing. But we have just gotten, again, this is just me, I'm the, common denominator here, I guess, but like, I've never seen comments this bearish on our videos before. I've never seen the amount of them. It's just been insane. And I've been questioning whether to even mention this guy because I don't like giving people attention, but I'm going to because of how bad I want to use him as a vehicle for what all these people are like. So there's a guy who has a channel named DeFi Gardener that comments like on every video and just puts like a eye roll face, or he's just always criticizing it, or like sell all your
Right.
Pulse now, it's going to go down another 50% and stuff like that. And I'm like, what is this guy's channel? Because he has like 5,000 or 6,000 subs, and I go to it, and he hasn't made a video for like a month or two, and they're all Solana meme coin videos. All of them, nearly all the videos. There was like one PulseChain video in there, and he's talking actually positively about PulseChain in it. But it's all trading Solana meme coins, like during Solana meme season and stuff like that. So one day I just said to him, because I am curious, because I know he's probably just a troll, but I'm looking at these comments and I'm just like, okay, when you guys say this, like, and again, they could just be trolls. Maybe I'm taking this too seriously, but I'm like, what are you proposing? Like, there's never any, it's just like Pulse sucks, sell, get out of the community. What are you doing? It's going to, okay, what do you propose? So one day I said to him, like, would you propose selling, doing meme coins on Solana then? And he's did kind of a half-hearted answer saying, yeah, at least blah, 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 whatever. I don't know. But I'm just like, these people, my point is they don't propose anything different. It's just coming to shit and troll and stuff like that. So they shouldn't be taken seriously in terms of like advice or listening to them or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think taking note of the volume of them is really important, because it really feels like a sentiment bottom to me. And then I saw that tweet from Bob Lucas in recent days too, more so in regards to Bitcoin and crypto as a whole. Man, sentiment is just down the freaking toilet right now. Yeah. I want to ask you, I want you to follow up on that, but I also want to ask you, we were having this discussion the other day. Who are these people? Like, is it, what my question is, like, were they Pulse holders and sold and are now rooting for it to go down to confirm their, actions? That's what people usually do. You buy something or sell something and then try to justify it however you can. Or that's it. That's the only hypothesis I really have.
I agree with that whole sentiment, where people have made the choice to dump their bags. And they root it on to go lower just to justify their actions. Usually that's what it is, rather than when things go down and DCA in for a better position, a better average, they try to get it all in one clip. And a lot of times what ends up happening is they never do get back in, because they always think, well, it's going to go lower. So what ends up happening then is it turns around, it moves extremely quick, and then they never get in because they're probably lost interest, or they're probably moved on to something else, and they completely lose the position that they would have had they just stayed in and possibly DCA'd a little bit on the way down. That's what happens to those type of people usually. There aren't many that will take a dip like this one, for example, sell in this range, and then happen to catch it back here and say, I think it's over, I'm buying all back in at a much better position. You would double, had you done that, you would have doubled your bag, even if you sold in this area at this, for, what is this? What am I looking at here? Pulse, 4 zeros and an 8.5. We're below half of that. So you would have doubled your position anytime in here just by selling and rebuying back in at these levels. So, hindsight's 2020. Obviously, it could go down lower, but there aren't many people, again, like I said, to just dump their whole bag, think it was the right thing, and then have the courage to buy back in at this level. So,
right.
Yeah, a lot of that is exactly what you said, because I can't think that many people would flood their own bags. Like, if they're still holding and they're still talking the trash that I see on it, it just baffles me sometimes how people can talk badly about the things they own. And, it leads me to believe that, well, they've probably sold it and they're rooting for it to go down just to justify their actions. So
I think you're dead on. And Yeah, because clearly some of those guys do have interest in PulseChain and have held it, because I said in that one particular guy's case, he's making videos on it in the past and stuff like that.
Right.
So
Right.
I understand it. I mean, but again, something that people have to remember is like all they're doing is confirming what's going on. It's like, yeah, this is what the chart looks like right now, and people are outraged and bitching and, you know, can't take it and stuff like that. So, you know, if you are inclined to really believe in the ecosystem and believe in these products and everything, then you just buy the blood. Obviously, that's just what you got to do.
And Chris Brune, I don't know if I was on the other screen, so I don't know if you highlighted his comment or not.
I did not, no.
But they can't dump their hex stakes. So, you know, it's one of the things, especially for long-term hex takers, where you don't want to FUD it because you can't unstake it without taking a catastrophe of a penalty. And, you know, I think a lot of people still silently root for it. They're just not talking about it because the price is down so badly. But right now's the time you want to get people in. The honest people want to get people in at these cheap T-share prices, right? Not when it goes up to 10, 20, 30 cents. You know, you kind of have to watch out for some of those people if they're telling you at that point to stake it that late in the game. They may have an ulterior motive to get you to stake at 10, 15, 30 cents, whatever it may be, when they should be telling you now's the time to buy those T-shares. Now's the time to make those stakes, because it's going to cost you half a quarter of the price, maybe, you know what, even a 20th of the price. So,
right.
Yeah, just watch out for those type of people that will tell you later on, you know, now's the time to definitely stake, because, you know, actually it's now, not then.
Yeah. Yeah. And shout out Chris Brune. He comments on a lot of our videos, and I appreciate that.